Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Jakejames Lugo, and welcome to the channel, where you'll find some of the most fair and honest game reviews out here. Now let's talk about a series we haven't visited in quite a while, more specifically the Tekken Tag series, which is treated like a special event within the fighting game community. Now I have to make one little note here, I am playing this game on an Xbox, mainly because I got this because of Games with Gold, but normally I would play any Tekken game on a PlayStation console, but since the series has gone multi-platform over the years, it just feels like it should be okay now at this point. So anyway, let's just dive into some Tekken Tag Tournament 2 and see if it still has what it takes to be good. If you're a big fighting game fan, then the name Tekken shouldn't be a surprise to you. At the same time, Tekken Tag Tournament should be like a big event for you too. The reason why I say that is because you don't get to see it as often as you might like, for a variety of reasons. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 was released in June of 2012 for multiple consoles. The game got a digital release on the PS3 and Xbox 360, but it also got a port for the Wii U that had some extra Nintendo-themed costumes. The big appeal of Tekken Tag Tournament is the tag team combat, and how it's treated as a dream match between every character within the Tekken universe. Everybody's favorite characters getting thrown together into one massive game pretty much. I can't talk too much about the story here, because there really is no story to follow. Yes, there is a short story involving Lee and the combat, but it's a silly side tale that doesn't really contribute to the greater Tekken series narrative. However, nearly every single character from previous games is included in here, including all of their specific quirks all the way up to Tekken 6. Bottom line, if you've been playing Tekken over the years, this is the dream match that you've always waited for.
着きましたよ、お客さん。
ここが会場か。
So the Tekken Tag Tournament games kind of remind me a little bit of the King of Fighters Ultimate Matchup releases that happen every now and then in between games. You'll get these releases where there's no story or lore building, but it's an excuse to get all these different characters from the previous games into one major release and roster, so you can have all these dream matches between everybody. My only one little nitpick here is that there's not enough legacy Tekken stages that are included in the game. We get these original stages which look and sound amazing, don't get me wrong. However, because we have so many characters from all the previous games, how awesome would it have been to get all these legacy stages from previous Tekken games like Tekken 1 through 3 or Tekken 4, 5, and 6, like legacy stuff that's given a brand new coat of paint and just given a whole new update? It would have been pretty freaking sweet. Imagine going to the Mishima Zaibatsu dojo from like Tekken 5 but completely revamped for Tekken Tag 2, or one of the other classic stages from Tekken 2 or 3 totally reimagined for this game. I wish that we saw more of that. It actually would have been a lot of fun to see that, but alas, that's just me being a little bit nitpicky, but I'm pretty sure many of you out there probably feel the same. So with all that out of the way, let's get right into the fighting, let's get right into the gameplay. There's a lot of stuff for me to touch on in here, which I feel like is pretty darn good, but there's some other things as well that I feel like we should definitely discuss. To put it bluntly, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 plays exactly like every other Tekken game up to this point. You're not going to see many changes to the core fighting, but there are a few minor things that are added to it. The tag element is the main focus here. You could tag in a partner at any time during a match and switch out which character you control. Yet at the same time, you'll lose a round if either one of your fighters loses all of their health. During a fight, you can alternate between fighters to mix up attacks and create longer combos, keeping the momentum in your favor. There's extra tech like Tag Assault and Tag Assist that let you combo together or switch out in between attacks. You could get very creative with your attacks that you throw out there, depending on which character you're playing with. This is all very cool, but what about the game modes? This is where I feel Tekken Tag 2 starts to falter. We have all of the offline modes like Arcade, Time Attack, Survival, and Local Multiplayer. These are all still very fun. Each of these modes can also be played with tag rules or single fights like in traditional Tekken. But then the game drops the ball hard with its online multiplayer. Yeah, back when it first came out, the online modes were pretty decent, but nowadays you can't really find a lot of matches online, making the entire mode kinda useless. It's a shame because Tekken games usually have a lot of longevity across all platforms, but as more games got released, this one kinda died out. But that doesn't mean you still can't connect with people off of your friends list in order to play online. And there's honestly enough offline modes to keep you playing if you're not able to. But even so, I can't ignore how an entire part of the game is non-existent at this point.
Round 2. Fight!
So a mode that I really like in here that's been a thing since Tekken 5 is the Ghost Battle mode. This tries to emulate the arcade scene, and it's a nice supplement when you don't have online modes available or there's no local friends around you to play multiplayer. You'll just fight against a bunch of random opponents with their own character roster selection and team-ups, and also items that they have for customization. It's a nice little thing to have when you don't have access to those other modes. But the other thing too is that it allows you to unlock not only extra fight money, but also other character customization items for your entire roster, including also arcade endings too, which I really appreciate it because you don't necessarily need to run through everybody's arcade mode to get all the endings here. That's something that's a nice little touch, but again, it's more about the fighting with this mode than anything else. Unfortunately, this is no substitute for actual online play or offline multiplayer because this mode would only get you so far, especially if you're trying to get really good and you're trying to improve your skills. The computer could only do so many things. It can't really play against you or fight against you like a normal human would. At that point, eventually, you're going to have to try to find a way to play against other people. But for the time being, if you're just trying to learn the game and you're trying to get like the basics, bread and butter down to a nice good flow for yourself, this is a great mode to have that's not the arcade mode and not anything else as well. And speaking of unlockables, what about all the other extra content that's included in Tekken Tag Tournament 2? Is it really good or special, kind of like what we've come to expect from the entire series? To be honest with all of you guys, I mean, yeah, kinda. So if I'm going to nitpick on something in here, this would definitely be it. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 has unlockable extras, mostly with custom items that you could equip to your fighters within the customization menu. This is pretty cool and probably one of the best things added to the Tekken series lately. But here's the lingering problem. The other unlockables and extra content that you'd expect to see in here are severely lacking. But it gets even worse. Would you believe me if I said that you had to pay with real money in order to unlock bonus endings and extra cutscenes for the gallery mode? I'm not kidding. For real, this was a thing. And honestly, it's complete nonsense. Later games like Tekken 7 allowed you to unlock legacy Tekken cutscenes for the gallery, such as Tekken arcade endings from the original games. But Bandai Namco tried to charge people back then for this extra content within the game. It was like a few extra bucks for collecting all the cutscenes. But you know what the sad part is? This is the only stuff that you get outside of the Tekken Tag 2 endings from arcade mode. Nothing else beyond that. Now to be fair, the game's endings you unlock by playing arcade mode are pretty good. But still, the notion of having to pay with real money for unlockables is complete BS and honestly should never be implemented in any case whatsoever.
Fight!
If you've ever gotten a chance to see my review of Tekken 7, which you could find right here, one of the things that I said about that game is that I loved how it had so much extra content, including the movies, the CG cutscenes, but also like all that extra concept art and promotional artwork that was included in there as unlockables, because that type of stuff just adds a nice accent to all the extra content that you could get from playing the game. And that's what I wish was included here in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, because as is, the game is very slim on its extra goodies. I mean, imagine having to go and pay all that money on Xbox Live or PSN for these bonus cutscenes, which should just be included in the game. It's like you're paying like $4 something per like little bundle for each individual game's cutscenes, and it's like you're probably gonna watch them once, maybe nothing more beyond that, like you're not really going to care about it afterwards. This is stuff that I feel like you should be able to pay with fight money in the game, not real money on the actual digital store. To me, that was probably the stupidest thing that they did with Tekken Tag 2. But other than that, if we just forget about that stuff and ignore it, everything else that's in the game here, it's just very shallow. And I felt like there needed to be a little bit more here. Now, I might not be a big Tekken lord out here like some people are, but based on what I've played thus far, can I recommend that you check out Tekken Tag Tournament 2 for any platform? I still think that this is still a good game because the fighting is very solid, but as a total package though, I don't think it's aged all that well. I feel like the content you get outside of the gameplay is very slim. That being said, I still enjoy the tag battles and I love the roster of fighters. I definitely want to see another Tekken Tag at some point, because the concept is still very much fun. But as far as this game goes, you'd be totally fine if you decided to wait it out for the next one. And there you have it, everyone. Those are my overall thoughts about Tekken Tag Tournament 2. This game is fun, it has great fighting and an awesome roster, but all these other little elements that stick out to me just kind of make it come up too short. I wish that all the extra content, besides like the paid stuff, which is stupid in of itself, but all the extra content would have been handled like Tekken 7, which to me was a celebration of the entire Tekken franchise, but Tekken Tag seems like the more appropriate spot to do something like that. Imagine if we had like all this like behind the scenes look and concept art, extra CG movies and other stuff from all these other Tekken games included in Tekken Tag, because all the roster of characters from the entire franchise up to that point are included in here. It just would have made a whole lot more sense to me. But regardless though, those are my thoughts about Tekken Tag 2. Let me know your own thoughts about this game down below in the comment section. Tell me, are you a big Tekken fan? What are some of your favorite characters from the Tekken series? What is your favorite Tekken game in general? Or better yet, for some of you out there, what are some other franchises in gaming, not necessarily doesn't have to be like fighting games and such, that handle their franchises or handle their series where they have like this big celebration of everything about them in one spot? Talk to me about that stuff down below in the comment section. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. It means a lot to see you enjoying all of the content. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me to support the channel if you can. Don't forget to leave a like on this video too, and post your thoughts down in the comments. You could also join my Discord server via the links in the description to be part of the community we have there. And you can also join my Patreon for early access to new videos and a ton of exclusive content that you won't find on YouTube. Thanks again for everything, and I'll see you again soon. Peace out, and stay epic, everybody.